sacred geometry, MetatronsCube. So the flower of life, mathematical equation called Fibonacci sequence.
Let's get esoteric at an old church.
Okay, so always come to these church grounds on the way to the beach this way, just because for me, it's very sacred. We're going to go around just to look at the architecture of sacred geometry all over. Every aspect of the angles come out of what's known in sacred geometry as MetatronsCube. So that basically means all the platonic solids are represented here. There's 5 platonic solids, and these buildings are designed within the expression of these platonic solids of MetatronsCube. And MetatronsCube are the straight lines that come out of the flower of life. Let's go through here. I love this part here. This is my favorite pathway. So the flower of life, symbol of circles within circles, that's represented as the flower of life. And you've seen it on churches and religious iconic buildings as well around the world. Renowned, very historic mathematics. It's a sacred mathematics, and it goes back 6,000 years. There's a temple in Egypt which has a flower of life symbol. The flower of life are the circles. You join up with lines, you align all of these circles
to get MetatronsCube.
Basically, MetatronsCube represents this reality. Everything can be measured within those platonic solids. Everything is designed from this sacred geometrical pattern of MetatronsCube. And that's what's been expressed in these buildings. They all fit perfectly geometrically into MetatronsCube. What you have to realize also is that trees, they grow in a pattern, a specific pattern that allows them to balance. They have to grow in a specific way, and you'll see it's very similar to a seashell is designed. And it comes from this pattern here. In the flower of life and MetatronsCube, there is a balanced mathematical equation called Fibonacci sequence. And this is what's also known as the golden mean. And it's the symbol that you see in whirlwinds, tornadoes, whirlpools. It's just how flow of nature moves. It grows within the Fibonacci sequence. Well, that's also within that pattern as well, within the essence of sacred geometry and the flower of life. And so, if we're going to look into some of these old buildings, if we're going to really look into the symbols and the signs, got to look at sacred geometry. Got to look at how sacred geometry exists within everything, because that's what these buildings are basically saying, that there's a sacred mathematical form that's been expressed perfectly.
Look out for part 2, avoiding the weekend crowds on one of the hottest weekends of the UK summer and rather choosing the natural cool aircon of the shaded new hammock location. Visit the summer retreat at Formby Point, coming soon with adventures in Gonzo Vision.